Now, I've often wondered what the social cataclysm would be that Albert Pike was talking about here. And I don't know if all y'all know what I'm talking about, or if you have been looking at this thing for a while now, like myself and a lot of other people's. I'm sure you've pondered on what that might look like, that social cataclysm. Well, it just dawned on me exactly what that is. And it's not, if you don't know what it is, it's not going to be a surprise to you once you figure it out, once I explain it to you. It's a no-brainer, but it's just how things go. It's what makes us human, and it makes me epic. So don't beat yourself up when you realize what it is. Think about what's going on right now. What I've been talking about as far as the snare goes. The snare. Right now, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's a lot of kings, countries that are denouncing ISIS-Rael. And I mean, it looks like it looks like there's going to be a shakeup in the UN, like Turkey's, they'll have to there's all kinds of stuff being talked about. The restraint has been moved. But you got all those countries that they're fed up. Enough is enough, right? But then you still got countries like the one that I live in that will back and support that machine with their last breath. And you want to know why? Because their pride, their egos it's way too big for them to stop now. Could you imagine? Just try to imagine, like the people, like a Fox News type person, right? And I mean, it's on both sides, but they're extremists when it comes to that. Like, they're supporting, and you see all the rhetoric. They're wanting the people over there in ISIS-Rael, they're getting shot. Protesters put to jail. I seen this doctor, beautiful young lady, and all she did was put something. It wasn't nothing really, on Facebook or Twitter or one of them, and they hauled her ass off in the paddy wagon. Yeah, they don't. This is no joke right now. So, and those foxy type people, they want to duke it out if you say that you don't want anyone on the other side to die, women and children. It's crazy. It really is. You see it. You see how insane it is. Well, those people, though, them Fox type people, they will never give that up. It don't matter. They could be here eventually. The people and the thing they're supporting, it could be made. The world already is thinking of it like they did that country back in the 40s. You remember that started that whole deal. Actually, I mean, if it won't take you long to figure that out. So the world's already looking at them like that, and the Fox people could see that someday, eventually see that hey, these people that I'm supporting and pledging my allegiance to are like those people from back in the 40s. They're not going to stop, even if they see it like that, because they've wrote so many checks that their ask in no way can cash. But they're going to hold on with everything they got because they don't want to admit that they're wrong. That's what it is. It's a social cataclysm. You didn't think like that the end, the last war, it would have to be a fight for everything, right? I mean, they wouldn't. Could you just see like Armageddon being everyone fighting over the price of oil or something like that? That's not what they're fighting over now. It's a clear divider down, but that, it's a line that divides the world pretty much, and it's got something to do with pretty much everyone's God, doesn't it? And it's got to do with the Most High. It's everything His word's been saying. So that thing was good to people for so long, and they love how it profits them. It kind of sounds like, and when in Revelations or Isaiah, wherever, when it's talking about the merchants, and it describes Babylon when it's talking about she's fallen, and it says your merchants traded and done, yeah, like that, because all these countries that are behind them 100%, they're in too deep. They can't go against it. You see what they're going to ride this thing out. Trust me. There's going to be very few of them people that you will see let down that deal, quit beating that drum. Yes. So it's been perfectly conspired to be the perfect social cataclysm. That way, because look, you just watch the news, go through the news channels around the world, and you're going to see there's a lot of pushback right now on that deal. And you can see it's changed ever since that day. And so it's because anything else, if you sit and think of other things that they could be mad at each other over, there's nothing like this issue. This issue is the only thing that I could think of that could bring about total devastation and destruction. But I mean, you got all the people over there that they've been encroached upon. They know what this thing is. They know. They might not know what the Bible says about it, but they know what's happening here. They know the truth. So, and then there's people like this one that's been their hammer for together. They've all three of them, Britain, here, and them, they've all been one entity pretty much. Just smashing the whole earth. And there's a lot of people on the earth that they've had enough. And they see what it is. So when the duking begins and they throw down, it's both of them are going to have something to fight till the end over. The other side will know that they don't want it to go back the way it was. And then this side, the fox kind of side, they'll fight till the end so they won't have to admit that they've been wrong. Yep. So right here it says, we shall provoke a formidable social cataclysm, which in all its horror will show clearly to the nations the effect of absolute Atheism. See, so you got to think about what that is, atheism. I mean, I would say, like, I don't know, like Bill Gates and the people for the World Economic Forum and them type of people, maybe they would be considered atheists to Pike. Then like the nihilist and stuff. And so anyone left would never want to go to that. They would never want to, like, if you brought up the World Economic Forum, like you might get punched in the mouth like that. So it might be like that someday, you know. So after all the cataclysm, after they provoked the cataclysm to bring about knockdown, drag out, they're going to, it will clearly show to the rest of the people, the nations, the effect of things like the WEC or WEF, excuse me, and the origin of savagery. So what do you think that's going to be? I can tell you right now what it's going to be. It's going to be ISIS. People will be looking to figure out how that ISIS-Rael thing happened. Yes. This is, they, like the people like Pike and them, the guys that are still doing this thing, they're masterminds for one, and it's working just like they planned for it to work. All according to plan. But ultimately, like I've always have to say, the Most High is ultimately responsible. He is the one that does it. And there's nothing you can do about it. All you can do is get on the right side, wherever that is you need to be, where the word tells you need to be. So they'll study that history. They'll want to. They'll say, well, we got to get rid of that, and we can never go back to there again, because look at all the wars it's caused and killings and all these things. It's horrible. And of the minority, origin of savagery and of the most bloody turmoil, just what I was just saying. Yes, they're going to say, look at all this carnage it's caused. Then everywhere, when they see that, the citizens will feel obliged to defend themselves against the world minority of revolutionaries. Well, I can tell you right now that pretty much anyone that's left, if they're people that were Muslim, or if they were those people, the Kabbalists, all them people, most of them in ISIS-Rael, all the people of the other religions, when this is happening, and after they see all the origin of savagery and the most bloody of turmoils, they'll switch it up, no problem. Like they'll say, okay, we'll all quit with religion. We won't mention our Creator's name or mention nothing about him ever again, if that's what you want. For peace, you know. They'll all turn, because they're all posers. They're not bawdy, nothing. So the only people that they would have to exterminate, that is considered a minority of revolutionaries, will be the only ones left that haven't kneeled. Like Daniel, when the horn blowed, they all had to kneel for the statue. The only ones that the minority of revolutionaries that they're talking about, that Pike's talking about right there, that they're people like Daniel that ain't going to bow. So they will exterminate those destroyers of civilization. And the multitude disillusioned with Christianity, whose deistic spirits will from that moment be without compass or direction, anxious for an ideal. It's like it's putty in Abba's hand and these people's hand. And let me tell you why. The reason it has to come to Satan, Lucifer worship at the end. You want me to tell you why? This is the threshing, time of threshing. And everyone's getting trodden down in the winepress by the word of truth, by the Messiah. And after everyone takes themselves out, right before they're all wiped out and the last wiping out happens, as merciful and gracious as the Most High is, He's going to make their last choice be a definite one. If everyone sees that it's almost over, there's not many left, look at all the destruction that's happened and the death, and you will have one last chance to say, I don't want this world, I don't want Babylon. No, the people that are left in the end will choose Satan openly. So it'll be the nail in the coffin. It'll be like, yep, there was nothing I could do. It all, the Most High whirled it all up just like a ice cream cone. Because He's got all the right moves. I mean, it is that social cataclysm. Because this is going to happen. You can see that it's all according to plan. Have you ever wondered how the one side that's doing all the slapping around right now, they're like so blatantly defiant and they don't care. And I mean, and look how it all adds up. When you look and see how everything is moving and what's happening, it's all according to the word. It's all according to these guys' plan. And ultimately, when you know all that, you know that it's Abba's plan. Because look what the fight is over. That we've been reading. This is why that word had to be sealed up until this time. Because look, we've been talking about the land, and look what the cataclysm is. Okay? This is right at the end. He's going to say, you want to live here or do you want to live there? Are you going to serve me or are you going to serve yourself or them? Choose right now. And every day that choice is getting more and more. You're running out of time. You realize that the choice has to be made soon. This is urgent. And I mean, everything that I've been seeing is, by the time springtime gets here next year, I mean, if it's not, I'll be the first to, I'll be the first that's happy that I'm wrong. But the way everything that I've seen, and look at all the stuff we went through, guys, and I could bring more. I know. I've been saying that. The way things look, it's like within a year or so, it's just going to be. Because, I mean, obviously that's what's going on. I mean, if anyone wanted to say, that's not going to happen, I'm not just I'm not trying to predict the future, okay? I'm telling you what should be obvious to everyone. When you see all the sides that's been saying they want to kill each other, and you see everything that they're fighting over, and then you sit and watch all of them build all their equipment up and their men and get them all ready, and that whole time, and you're seeing it go down, and you're watching it in real time. You're watching the build up, the fighting, the bickering. You see it, it's coming to a head. If you can't see what's going to happen pretty soon, you are blind. And then when you add what anyone with common sense can see, when you add to that all the scripture that you've been reading and all the other stuff to supplicate it that you've been reading, it's screaming. If you say anything other than a year and a half, you're a damn fool. That's what the evidence is telling me. That I would be a fool to say that I think that within a year all that's going to go down. I would be a fool to think that it ain't, or say that it ain't. With all the damning evidence. Look at it. So that's the reason they're going to come out. Because look, here at the last part, I'll finish reading it. Okay. And the multitude, the people that's left, disillusioned with Christianity, whose deistic spirits will from that moment be without compass or direction. Because look, it's everything that's got to do with Abba in some sort of way. There's Christianity, and the people, they say, even some believe that they worship, serve the Most High, but they don't, they disrespect him, and it's just, I mean, they don't revere nothing. So I don't know what word to use, but it's based on, like, Jacob, Abraham, the Most High. The story comes from them, but they just added the paganry in on top of it. And then the ones that are doing all the slapping around, theirs is based on the Most High, but it's false. And then the other side, theirs is pretty much based on the Most High. It's just false. They've added all kinds of stupidity to it. So the lines are being drawn in between them right there. Christianity and those guys that are doing the slapping over here, and then those guys over there, and then all the other people like the atheists that really they hate the mention of the Most High. If they sit back on the sidelines and watch all this happen, in the end, if you ask them, what's your vote? Should we have religion or ever speak that name ever again? They're going to say no. Whoever's left will say there cannot be no more Christianity, no more Islam, no more of those guys, nothing. And that's how it'll be. Because look, finally, disillusioned with Christianity, whose deistic spirits will from that moment be without compass or direction, because all their expectations they'll realize they were false. Anxious for an ideal, but without knowing where to render its adoration, will receive the true light through the universal manifestation of the pure doctrine of Lucifer, brought finally out in the public view. This manifestation will result from the general reactionary movement, which will follow the destruction of Christianity and atheism, both conquered and exterminated at the same time. Yep. So, yeah, I mean, I've for a long time I've sat and thought, like, what could that be? The social cataclysm. And I mean, for a long time I was thinking that it was this rainbow stuff. And that's part of it, but this was the straw. It is the straw that's breaking the camel's back. This is like the top thing, like, all them Fox type people, they're saying, these are God's chosen people. We have to just annihilate anyone that bats an eye at them. And then they're thinking that all over the world. But there's a lot of people that are stepping away and saying, nope, I see what this is. Because that's how it was back in the 40s. There was people with them people before all the wicked stuff they said came, that was found out that they were doing. Before that, there was people, and people that stayed in there that had wrote too many bad checks already, and they had to ride it out with those guys. But I don't think there was very many. But looking back now, any of these countries that are supporting that, if you'd ask them if they would have supported that back then, they're going to say no, and them's fighting words, right? So that's what I'm saying. This is the battle of all ages. It's been whirled up. It is indeed that social cataclysm. I always wondered when I seen this, when this was in the news, and I've looked at it since then, I've put it on here. But I remember every time looking at that, thinking, why is that right in the front of that crack like that? And I've heard people say it, and I could have seen it back then, that it was like the water comes through that crack, and then it's, but think about this. We've read about Babylon, the sovereign of Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar, putting the parting, making, I can't remember how he said he made it or something. I think it's in Ezekiel. It says that he put the parting of the ways, like one sentence in context right around it says something like, the highway was like the confusion and highway, something confused on the highway, or the highway was of confusion or something. And then that Nebuchadnezzar did that, and he put the parting of the ways like in front of the gates of Yasharal, the parting of the ways. And I knew, like, we'll go back and look at it. Can't get the verbatim right now, but I know what it says. It says that he put the parting of the ways in front of the, like, there's a lot more to it than that, but I'm saying that is what it says, that Nebuchadnezzar did it. And look, that's that monolith that's pointy, on the other side, and that water, say that was all water coming out, it would part it right there in two, and one stream would go this way, and another stream would go that way. So, I mean, there's just so much evidence, you guys. That, I mean, it alleviates, it removes all doubt. I mean, I'm trying to think of a word to use when you're way past that, like when you realize there was no doubt left, that there was nothing left to think about, that you found the truth to something. What word do you use for that when that happened a minute ago? There's too much. It's overwhelming that all these things are true. But let's just see what chapter 6 says. I want to get all this read with you guys, and so we can see this together, learn together, reason together. And why not? And he said to me, at the beginning of the circle of the earth, before the portals of the world were in place, and before the assembled winds blew, and before the rumblings of thunder sounded, and before the flashes of lightning shone, and before the foundations of paradise were laid, and before the beautiful flowers were seen, and before the powers of movement were established, and before the innumerable host of angels were gathered together, and before the heights of the air were lifted up, and before the measure of the firmaments were named, and before the footstool of Zion was established, and before the present years were reckoned, and before the imaginations of those who now sin, before the imaginations of those who now sin were estranged, and before those who stored up treasures of faith were sealed, Then I planned these things, and they were made through me and not through another, just as the end shall come through me and not through another. There you go. I mean, that's just right on time, ain't it, baby? Just look at it. Did you hear what I just read to you? It's hand in hand. I mean, I ain't just been, like I got to keep telling you guys, I ain't been just making this crap up. When I say things like he's got all the right moves, me and him, we've done the tango, I ain't just making it up. I know it sounds like that to those who are deistic, and they're not doing anything. Yeah. What we just read right there. I mean, it was just, that was like Abba saying, yeah, here's all the more evidence you're going to need that this is what's going on. But I'm sure there's going to be more in here. Let's see. And I answered and said, what will be the dividing of the times? The dividing of the times. Or when will be the end of the first age and the beginning of the age that follows? He said to me, from Abraham to Isaac, because from him were born Jacob and Esau. For Jacob's hand held Esau's heel from the beginning. For Esau is the end of this age, and Jacob is the beginning of the age that follows. For the beginning of a man is his hand, and the end of a man is his heel. Between the heel and the hand, seek for nothing else. Ezra. Any ideas what that might mean? What's the heel represent? The foot represent? Walking, traveling. It wouldn't be your hands. I mean, unless you walk on your hands. I don't know. Probably some people, civilizations might do that. But, and then what's your hand symbolize? Your work, what you do, what you create. For the beginning of a man is his hand, and the end of a man is his heel. Between the heel and the hand, seek for nothing else. Seek for nothing else. Seek the kingdom first, and anything else will be added to you. The kingdom is walking in the right direction. Doing what's right. Doing what's right. Building what's right. Creating what's right. Supporting what's right. I answered and said, O sovereign Yahuwah, if I have found favor in your sight, show your servant the end of the signs which you did show me in part on a previous night. He answered and said to me, rise to your feet, and you will hear a full, resounding voice. And if the place where you are standing is greatly shaken, while the voice is speaking, do not be terrified, because the word concerns the end. And the foundations of the earth will understand that the speech concerns them. They will tremble and be shaken, for they know that their end must be changed. And what I think that's saying is that it says that the foundations of the earth will understand, and when we know, most times when it's saying that it's shaken, that doesn't mean an earthquake. It means that the lies, it's all getting shaken up, and the truth's gonna start coming out, and truth that was laying there will be laid. It'll be bare now. You'll be able to see it. So, because trust me, it's not saying that speech from people's when the rocks, it's like rocks crying out. That doesn't mean that the rocks cried. This doesn't mean that when we're saying the word above the end that the Most High sealed up, that when the rocks hear it, it will tremble and shake. That's not what that means. It means what would make sense. The reason that we're saying this right now is because we're in the end. I mean, we wouldn't have been saying it 10 years ago because it's all been worked up. It wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't fit. We wouldn't do it. Whatever. Now that's what we have to talk about because that's the time, the season we're in. We're dealing with these issues. You see? And the more we see the truth, the more we speak the truth, the more truth is going to be exposed. It's just common sense, right? So that's what it's talking about. Because for they know that their end must be changed. You see? When I heard this, I rose to my feet and listened, and behold, a voice was speaking, and its sound was like the sound of many waters. Many waters. What is water? It's truth. The sound of many truths. Yes. The Most High's voice is all truths, as many as you can count. And it said, behold, the days are coming, and it shall be that when I draw near to visit the inhabitants of the earth, and when I require from the doers of iniquity, the penalty of their iniquity, and when the humiliation of Zion is complete, and it is, and all that support for that thing over there, that's humiliation. I mean, it is. Just imagine if she did talk, Zion, what she would be saying. She'd say, look here, all my children who claim to love me and love the Most High who made me and them have forgotten about me, and they're over there pledging their dying allegiance, their love and admiration for that thing that's pretending to be me, Zion, but it's the most evil thing that's ever been created. And it's like Pandora's box. There's tons of humiliation. And for Zion's sake, you've been reading it. He's jealous. He'll stop it because he can't take no more, only so much of it going down. And, I was just talking about, we were just seeing Abba's dance moves and him showing you that these things are true, my baby. Listen to what it's saying and do it. That's all he's saying. He ain't being rough with you. He's like I've been saying, she wants a man with a slow hand. She wants a lover with an easy touch. Yeah. But eventually he has to stop. He set a time. The door's gonna get shut. But right now he's being extra gentle and giving to all these people who, they're like little toddlers running around, snot-nosed toddlers, rugrats that are just meaner than all heck, just killing and destroying, and because they want their bottle. And the Most High's hand got one held up to their face, and they're so mad, and they're throwing such a fit that they can't even see the bottle in front of their face. Because that's how delusional they are. The state of delusion that they're in right now, it's peaking, and it's gonna peak, and that peak, that pinnacle, is going to be them saying, okay, I'll worship Satan. It's the truth. That's what's going to happen. They're going to be like, yeah, man, you're right. If they are like a secret Jesus lover, they'll keep that to themselves. They ain't going to say that they're doing, what we're worshiping a rock now. Okay, I am too. That's what they'll be saying. because they'll be disillusioned with Christianity. They'll be so deistic. They'll have been created to be so materialistic and deistic that whatever Babylon wants them to do, that's what they'll do. And that would be the straw that breaks the camel's back. The Most High would say, the last decision that you're going to make that's going to cause me to go and end it is everyone left besides my children will choose Lucifer with his name and everything right on it. That way he can say, I gave you every opportunity. I gave you all the time in the world. I coddled you and burped you, changed your diaper while you were throwing that tantrum. But you finally let me know that you do not want to come with me to paradise, to everlasting life. You want to be destroyed. Okay. That's what's happening right now. There's no two ways about it. So the humiliation of Zion, it will be complete. And when the seal is placed upon the age, which is about to pass away, and I never caught that if this is because it said that Esau was the end of the first one, and then so the next one was the second one. So I would say we're in the third, because it must have started with Messiah, is what I would say. I don't know though, but I don't remember seeing it. So we would be in the third. Yeah, because it says there's 14 generations. No, there's been from Adam to Abraham, there's 14. From Abraham to David was 14, and then from David to Messiah was 14. It's 42. 3 sets of 14. So we're in the fourth. And he says all there is 4, I'm pretty sure. Then I will show these signs. Well, let me back that up. And when the seal is placed upon the age, which is about to pass away, then I will show these signs. And when it's about to pass away, could it be the signs that we've been seeing? I don't know. The books shall be opened before the firmament, and all shall see it together. Please tell me that you're not thinking about a literal book, like people standing in front of like this glowing book and it opening magically and everyone looking down. I hope not. That's Jeremiah and Isaiah, all the prophets, the book. It's been opened up and we're all seeing it together. And there's going to come a time when everyone, trust me, that's part of it too. They're going to know what they turned down. I mean, usually like if someone dumps someone and the one they dumped really liked that person, it's just a matter of time. Usually a few years down the road, they'll see that one they dumped. They'll be miserable and they'll see the one they dumped, and the one they dumped is just living it up. Head over heel. I mean, just falling head over heels over someone publicly. Isn't it ironic how those things happen? Well, this is going to be the epitome, the pinnacle of irony when this is all said and done. Everyone's going to know. Everyone's going to see what they turned down, and they're going to be gnawing and gnashing their teeth when they realize what they've chose. Yeah, it's going to be bad. So he's shown us that when it's almost over. Then I will show these signs. The book shall be opened before the firmament, and all shall see it together. Infants a year old shall speak with their voices. And women with child shall give birth to premature children at 3 or 4 months. This is rapidly hypersonic growing seeds. Seeds are going to get planted, and they're going to be up and sprouted out and blooming in no time. Yeah. And these shall live and dance. That's all they're going to know. And all the parents and the moms and the dads, they'll never want to talk about the other side. There'll be no mention of Babylon. And we'll know that's that feast. That's what that's what you're feasting on. If you're feasting on the flesh of sovereigns, all that what it talks about in Revelations, that's not literal. It means that we will get a full visual, complete, in its completeness, of everything we ought never do. That, and it'll all be things that we would rather die than do. And if that's all that's left is people like that they're going to have peace and righteousness as their officers and their magistrates. It's perfect. It's the most beautiful thing. As he's been showing me all this, every day, have I not been saying my mind is blown every single day? Because it's been blown with that level of supersonic genius. Just tell me the word. Is there a word that can describe it? Infinite, omnipotent, whatever. It's beyond precise and calculated and extremely beautiful. Beyond all that. They need to have a supersonic emphasis dictionary. Yeah. Super emphasis dictionary. Sown places shall suddenly appear unsown. Sown places shall suddenly appear unsown. That couldn't be talking about the renewed Jerusalem, would it? Like, if the way the people believe, they believe that the Most High has built a whole other earth and a whole other city of Jerusalem, and they're setting up in heaven somewhere, up in the sky somewhere. And then one day he's going to bring them down and set them down, and we're just going to hop off over to the other one, I guess. I don't know how they see that going down. But so if it was like that, then I guess you could say it's been sown. He made it up there, and they'll just suddenly appear. Does that sound like that's going to happen? I'm going to tell you right now, and this is, I mean, it's perfect. Everything, a lot of the things that the Most High has opened my eyes to, they are things that before my eyes were open, I looked at them in some fantastical kind of way, like a Marvel movie kind of like way, like Iron Man or something, like something that you just, it would be like, seeing laser beams coming out of their hands or something like that along those lines. But what I've learned is that it's a lot more realistic than I thought. I mean, it's nothing that, looking back, it's unbelievable for sure. But and that it could have only been our wonderful Creator that could have did it, but it was more subtle, and it wasn't. Yeah, it probably was extreme, but you don't, there's been so many things that I've realized aren't, and I've proven it right here. The Word has proven it, that they're just, and that's how the world misses it, because they That's what it would take. It would take Superman flying, hovering above them, to maybe get them to look at the word, something like that. But they're not going to get that. But what they're getting is it's far more thorough. It's more, it's everything. And what's so amazing about it is those kind of things, they solidify your faith. They keep building your faith. They're like the building blocks of your faith, of your wall. So when it says sown places shall suddenly appear unsown, you're going to realize that your comely house, it's been sitting there the whole time. You just couldn't see it before. And full storehouses shall suddenly be found to be empty. Full storehouses. 10, like I was just saying, 5-10 years ago, I wouldn't have been saying the things I'm saying about Isis Rael. I wouldn't have thought them. I used to give my admiration to people like Joel Osteen and those things. And it never got me anywhere except for more loss spun into a funnel cloud of delusion. All the deeper. All them times that I was down at the altar and was lost and looking for something, I never got anything in return when I went to those places but more delusion. That's it. More. The deeper you go in, the deeper you are, and the harder it is to get out. Hallelujah, who that I got out. And if you got out, praise the Most High. Those storehouses that were once full are going to be empty. We don't want nothing to do with those storehouses anymore. At that time, friends shall make war on friends like enemies. Yeah. It's been happening to me pretty much my whole life. It's like it don't take long for someone to pledge their undeniable devotion to me and tell me that I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread. And to only not long after that have them prove to you right in your face, basically with a trumpet, saying that was all a lie. I lied to you to manipulate you, to screw you. Suck it, sucker. Everyone. And the closer we get to the end, the more bold about that these people get. They don't care. They don't care if anyone sees them kissing ass to get something. And they don't care if anyone sees them looking straight down their nose, down to the bottom of their shoe at everyone else or to anyone else if they're not profitable to them. If you are profitable to them, they'll sit there and let everyone know that they would do anything for you. But as soon as you can't profit them, they don't mind letting everyone know that they convinced of that before, and you especially, that they didn't mean any of that and they were only doing it for money. What are you going to do about it? So what? That's their attitude, and it's getting worse. They make war. I've had plenty of people friends that I thought were my friends made war with me. They wouldn't tell you it's war because they don't know what words mean. They would just say that it was because I stopped giving them everything they wanted and I'd only give them about half of it, and now they're mad. And so I'm a bad person because I didn't continue to just let them screw me over. Basically. I ain't saying I'm perfect. I'm saying you probably know. It's a dog. It's been a rough one out there. Dog eat dog. Every man, woman, child, pet. Gia pet for himself. And the earth and those who inhabit it shall be terrified, and the springs of the fountains shall stand still, so that for 3 hours they shall not flow. So I'm thinking that was a set of time where the truth didn't come out like it is now. And it shall be that whoever remains after all that I have foretold to you shall himself be saved, and shall see my salvation and the end of my world. Yeah, like we're seeing right now. And they shall see the men who were taken up, and who from their birth have not tasted death. So I'm guessing he's talking about Enoch, I think, and Elijah. And who else? Wasn't there one more? I can't think. I think there was one more. Well, Ezra, probably. I don't know. The birth have not tasted death, and the heart of the earth's inhabitants shall be changed and converted to a different spirit. That sounds more like it, instead of a city coming down out of the sky and parking, finding a parking spot, parallel parking it, and then us hopping, climbing a ladder and getting up into whatever that looks like. Does it look, if anyone is offended right now, could you at least just tell us what it looks like in your mind when you think about that coming down? Just be honest. Is it just like a blur, and it's just like you're some kind of fairy on a cloud floating around, and there really is no sense of direction or gravity, or what is it? I mean, I'm curious what the people think, you know. And I'm not trying to sound like a smartass, but, you know, remember, it's like a toddler, snot-nosed, spoiled, rugrat toddler, crying, throwing the biggest tantrum right now because he wants his bottle, and I've been holding it right here in his face, and he don't care about the bottle. It's beyond that now. He just wants to hurt something or someone. You see? So I'm not trying to sound like a jerk. I'm just trying to get you to understand. The spirit, let's see, and the heart of the earth's inhabitants, the heart, the spirit, shall be changed and converted to a different spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh, the set apart spirit of truth, with officers and magistrates of peace and righteousness, perfect harmony. Ah, yes. Felt like they were here forever, like they were never going to go home. I didn't think they'd ever leave. Finally, it's just me and you, Abba. And whoever is thinking the same thing that I'm thinking. For evil shall be blotted out, and deceit shall be quenched. Faithfulness shall flourish, and corruption shall be overcome, and the truth, which has been so long without fruit, shall be revealed. Yeah. While he spoke to me, behold, little by little the place where I was standing began to rock to and fro. And he said to me, I have come to show you these things this night. If therefore you will pray again and fast again for 7 days, I will again declare to you greater things than these. That's why I've been saying it's only getting better. It just keeps getting, when we're done reading, we'll know that there's going to be a lot more in the next thing we read. And that we're going to need more bibs. Can't keep these ones washed. Because your voice has surely been heard before the Most High. For the Mighty One has seen your uprightness and has also observed the purity which you have maintained from your youth. Therefore he sent me to show you all these things and to say to you, believe and do not be afraid. We can put, instead of believe, we can insert the word do or act. Don't be lazy. You gotta actually do it. But don't be afraid. Do not be quick to think vain thoughts concerning the former times, lest you be hasty concerning the last times. Don't be quick to think, Noah's flood couldn't have really happened. Yeah, I think it was an asteroid hit. That's what it was. And scientists are, so ain't nothing miraculous, nothing extreme is going to happen in my lifetime. These people are doomsday fear mongers. Don't be quick to think vain thoughts like that. Thoughts that are going to get you nowhere but closer to your demise. Don't be quick. Don't think about those things. Don't let them come to fruition. Because otherwise, you might become hasty concerning the last times. So what you got to do, we all need to do, is try to put ourselves in, visualize insane things that we read about that happened before in the past. So they really happened. So however you want to envision that, but that's what you need to, like the water parting for them to walk through. Just like there's a reason that the evil choices are being whipped up to the top, and like the last choice is the most blatantly evil, and it's an absolute rejection. It's like the person dumps the person that really loves them, and then later on they're miserable and they see that the person they dumped is just tickled to death with someone new, and they've forgotten all about them, and now they're jealous about it, and they want that person back. And if they could get them back, it would happen again in 2 or 3 days. They just want what they can't have. They don't care about you or anyone else. But just like they're going to have to make the worst choice at the very end, when we get to that finish line, we'll have been threshed all the way to the end. We'll be seeing it in real time. We'll see, just like the reason it says you'll know that I'm the set apart one of Jacob. At the end, you're going to know that, like, you're going to know exactly who he is. He's going to know exactly who you are. It's the wedding supper. I mean, both parties, both the bridegroom and the bride, are going to be comfortable with one another. They're going to see what he is doing and has been doing. He's going to make them aware of all those things, because he wants you to choose him. He wants you to let you know who he is. It's no different. There's a reason it's called the marriage supper. If you're in a relationship with someone, you plan on marrying someone, you need to let that person know everything about yourself as much as possible. Let them choose you. Let them see who you are naturally, I know it's hard sometimes, but we're talking about Abba. He's going to show you himself and give you the opportunity to do like they did, like they're going to do, and choose Lucifer. You're going to have your opportunity to say, to go wherever you want to go. But those who no doubt are choosing the Most High, it's perfection how everything is being mastered, masterly formed, like a rising loaf of bread together, a body. And that's how there'll be only things like peace and righteousness in the land and truth. There will be no more BS, because nobody left. There'll be no one left that absolutely don't despise what this world did and what they were about. So don't be hasty in thinking that nothing crazy is going to happen when you see all kinds of crazy stuff done been happening. Now after this I wept again and fasted 7 days as before, in order to complete the 3 weeks as I had been told. And on the 8th night my heart was troubled within me again, and I began to speak in the presence of the Most High. For my spirit was greatly aroused, and my soul was in distress. I said, O Yahuwah, you did speak at the beginning of creation, and did say on the first day, let heaven and earth be made. And your word accomplished the work. And then the Spirit was hovering, and darkness and silence embraced everything. The sound of man's voice was not yet there. Then thou did command that a ray of light be brought forth from your treasuries, so that your works might then appear. Again, on the 2nd day, you did create the spirit of the firmament, and did command him to divide and separate the waters, so that one part might move upward and the other part remain beneath. On the 3rd day, you did command the waters to be gathered together in the 7th part of the earth. 6th part thou did dry up and keep, so that some of them might be planted and cultivated and be of service before you. For your word went forth, and at once the work was done. For immediately fruit came forth in endless abundance, and a varied appeal to the taste, and flowers of inimitable color, and odors of inexpressible fragrance. These were made on the 3rd day. On the 4th day, you did command the brightness of the sun, the light of the moon, and the arrangement of the stars to come into being. And you did command them to serve man who was about to be formed. On the 5th day, you did command the 7th part, where the water had been gathered together, to bring forth living creatures, birds, and fish. And so it was done. The dumb and lifeless water produced living creatures, as it was commanded, that therefore the nations might declare your wondrous works. Yeah, if you're thinking that nothing wondrous is going to happen, just take a look around. I mean, there's plenty. Then you did keep in existence 2 creatures. The name of one you did call Behemoth, and the name of the other Leviathan. And you did separate one from another, for the 7th part where the water had been gathered together could not hold them both. And you did give Behemoth one of the parts which had been dried up on the 3rd day, to live in it, where there are 1,000 mountains. But to Leviathan you did give the 7th part, the watery part, and thou hast kept them to be eaten by whom thou wilt, and when thou wilt. On the 6th day thou did command the earth to bring forth before thee cattle, beast, and creeping things, and over these you did place Adam as ruler over all the works which you had made, and from him we have all come, the people whom you hast chosen. have chosen. All this I spoken before you, O Yahuwah, because thou hast said that it was for us that you did create the world. So he said this because the Most High said that he created everything for us. As for the other nations which have descended from Adam, you have said that they are nothing, and that they are like spit. And you has compared their abundance to a drop from a bucket. And now, O Yahuwah, behold, these nations which are reputed as nothing domineer over us and devour us. But we, thy people, your people, whom you have called your firstborn, only begotten, zealous for thee, and most dear, have been given into their hands. If the world has indeed been created for us, why do we not possess our world as an inheritance? How long will this be so? You ever thought about that? You ever just thought that, by gosh, if everyone has rights and they all get to claim this and claim that, and well, we should too, huh? We should have our own place of rest. I mean, the Bible tells us that that's the goal. I ain't saying nothing that the Bible doesn't say. And if you don't think so, let's look together and wait and watch what the Bible says about you. If you don't believe we're supposed to get an inheritance, if you don't believe that or don't consider it, I'll prove it to you. And then in the process of that, you're going to realize from the Word what it means to be like you. Yeah. When I had finished speaking these words, the angel who had been sent to me on the former nights was sent to me again, and he said to me, Rise, Ezra, and listen to the words that I have come to speak to you. I said, Speak, my master. And he said to me, There is a sea set in a wide expanse, so that it is broad and vast, but it has an entrance set in a narrow place, so that it is like a river. If anyone then wishes to reach the sea, to look at it, or to navigate it, how can he come to the broad part unless he passes through the narrow part? Another example, there is a city built and set on a plain, and it is full of all good things. But the entrance to it is narrow, and set in a precipitous place, so that there is fire on the right hand, and deep water on the left. And there is only one path lying between them, that is, between the fire and the water, so that only one man can walk upon that path. If now that city is given to a man for an inheritance, how will the heir receive his inheritance unless he passes through the danger set before him? It's whipped in perfect harmony. I said, He cannot, my master. And he said to me, So also is Yasharal's portion. For I made the world for their sake. And when Adam transgressed my statutes, what had been made was judged. And so the entrances of this world were made narrow and sorrowful and toilsome. They are few and evil, full of dangers and involved in great hardships. But the entrances of the greater world are broad and safe, and really yield the fruit of immortality. Therefore, unless the living pass through the difficult and vain experiences, they can never receive those things that have been reserved for them. Maybe that's why it was saying in 1 Peter that our belief, our obedience, our belief is what empowers us. It's what protects us. Yeah. It's exactly what he was talking about. What don't kill you makes you stronger, right? Yeah. If you don't go through them difficult and vain experiences, they can never receive those things that have been reserved for them. But now, why are you disturbed, seeing that you are to perish? And why are you moved, seeing that you are mortal? And why have you not considered in your mind what is to come, rather than what is now present? Then I answered and said, O sovereign, my master, behold, you has ordained in your law, so Yahuwah, in your law, that the righteous shall inherit these things, but that the ungodly shall perish. The righteous, therefore, can endure difficult circumstances while hoping for easier ones. But those who have done wickedly have suffered the difficult circumstances and will not see the easier ones. And he said to me, you are not a better judge than the Most High, or wiser than the Most High. Let many perish who are now living, rather than the law of the Most High, which is set before them, be disregarded. Common sense. For the Most High strictly commanded those who came into the world, when they came, what they should do to live, what they should observe to avoid punishment, what not to do that will make Dad mad. Nevertheless, they were not obedient and spoke against him, and kept acting like they weren't, but outright out of their mouth, and maybe the following breath, they could blaspheme him and justify doing it and tell you you're going to hell and causing others to go to hell because you're not doing it. Tell you that it asks you, what's it matter? What's it matter if we know his name? Yeah, I know you're saying that the name Jesus is actually saying Hail Zeus, and yeah, it does sound like that. And matter of fact, those people in the Mexican restaurants that had that name tag, their names was Jesus. Yeah, I know you're saying that, and you're probably right, but does it matter? He don't care if you disrespect him. He'll love you just the same. Yeah. It's all devised. It's all been perfectly orchestrated. You can't get and it's all just and right ruling down to the T. Every issue we could look at, every aspect of the end of how things have been whipped into what they've been whipped into. Every conclusion that we see to every matter, the answer, the conclusion that the Most High has whipped up for us is the ultimate, the only answer. It's the just answer. It was what had to be done. So they spoke against him, don't matter. And obedience, they don't even know what that word means. They devised for themselves vain thoughts and proposed to themselves wicked frauds. Yeah. No, the rapture's coming. Yeah, I know. I'm going to go and pray. Well, you want to pray? Can I pray for you? Let's all pray and feel that feeling and scare everyone who heard that they better not say anything about it because they'll get struck down. Yeah. But put the Bible in their hand where the truth is, and it'll tell them that we shouldn't be doing this. They ain't going to open it up. They'll never know. But make sure you give it to them. That way our ass is covered in the end. We can say, well, we gave them the word. They didn't open it up. Wicked frauds. They even declared that the Most High does not exist. Yeah, atheist. And they ignored his ways. They scorned his law and denied his covenants. You can add land into all them covenants. They have been unfaithful to his statutes. Got to come back to the land. Can't be calling them those names. And have not performed his works. That which is continual. Don't eat the blood with the meat. Pour it out on the ground like water. All esteem. Therefore, empty things are for the empty, and full things are for the full. See that? Yeah, that's that line. For behold, the time will come when the signs which I have foretold to you will come to pass. They are, ain't they? Ain't that amazing? Just more solidification that the city which now is not seen shall appear. So all the signs that he foretold to Ezra will come to pass in order that the city which now is not seen shall appear. Yeah, that sounds about right, because all these revelations that we've been given and shown, they are what has caused us to see the city. Every clue along the way. Isn't it? And it makes all the sense. What word can I use? I ain't going to say perfect sense, because it's beyond that. It all has made slicing and dicing satisfaction. It was guaranteed. He wasn't lying. And the land which now is hidden shall be disclosed. Does hidden and up in the sky, is that the same? And everyone who has been delivered from the evils that I have foretold shall see my wonders. Yeah. For my son the Messiah shall be revealed with those who are with him, and those who remain shall rejoice 400 years. And after these years my son the Messiah shall die, and all who draw human breath, all humans, and the world shall be turned back to primeval silence for 7 days, as it was at the first beginnings, so that no one shall be left. Not sure what that means. Primeval silence. But I was kind of thinking that. I'm sure you have too, that when it's all said and done, it'll all have went bye-bye. To be no more. Hallelujah. Do a little dance. And after 7 days the world which is not yet awake shall be roused, and that which is corruptible shall perish. That which is corruptible. And the earth shall give up those who are asleep in it, and the dust those who dwell silently in it. And the chambers shall give up the souls which have been committed to them. And the Most High shall be revealed upon the seat of judgment, and compassion shall pass away, and patience shall be withdrawn when they make that last choice. But only judgment shall remain, truth shall stand, and faithfulness shall grow strong. And everyone that will be there with him will have wanted to be there. It was their desire, their delight. They definitely didn't talk crap about someone who was like that. It's going to be bad. I mean, they're burying themselves. These people are burying themselves. It's simple. And recompense shall follow, and the reward shall be manifested. Righteous deeds shall awake, and unrighteous deeds shall not sleep. Then the pit of torment shall appear, and opposite it shall be the place of rest. And the furnace of hell shall be disclosed, and opposite the paradise of delight. Then the Most High will say to the nations that have been raised from the dead, look now and understand whom you have denied, whom you have not served, whose commandments you have despised. See? Thanks, Abba, for having my back. Look on this side and on that. Here are delight and rest, and there are fire and torments. Thus he will speak to them on the day of judgment, a day that has no sun or moon or stars, or cloud or thunder or lightning or wind or water or air, or darkness or evening or morning, or summer or spring, or heat or water, or air, or darkness or evening or morning, or summer or spring, or heat or winter, or frost or cold, or hail or rain, or dew, or noon or night, or dawn, or shining, or brightness, or light, but only the splendor of the Most High. Only the splendor of the glory of the mighty Most High, by which all shall see what has been determined for them. For it will last for about a week of years. This is my judgment and its prescribed order, and to you alone have I shown these things. Now, I know what you're going to say. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, see, all that stuff's going to go away when we go to heaven, when we're just floating around, just doing what? I don't know what we'll be doing, but playing a harp maybe on a cloud. No, that's not literal. Why he named all those off is to let you know you ain't going to care about none of that stuff. None of that will mean anything to you. You know how beautiful the sun is, the sunset, a nice blue sky, and some green fields, and that will be, you'll hate that, you know. Just like the Messiah said, you have to hate your mother, son, father, whoever, in order to follow him. He didn't mean for you to go hate on that person. He meant that compared to me, compared to what you get, you ain't nothing gonna matter to you. That's how it should be right now. It's all getting whipped into shape, isn't it? Loving every second of it. And it's only getting better, baby. I answered and said, O sovereign Yahuwah, I said then, and I say now, blessed are those who are alive and keep thy commandments. But what are those for whom I prayed? For who among the living is there that has not sinned, or who among men that has not transgressed your covenant? And now I see that the world to come will bring delight to few, but torments to many. For an evil heart has grown up in us, which has alienated us from the Most High. Yep. We ain't all esteem, face down. I mean, and once you realize just who your daddy is and everything, his moves that are second to none, all you want to do is praise him, esteem him. Marriage, love and marriage, and has brought us into corruption and the ways of death, and has shown us the paths of perdition, and removed us far from life. And that not just a few of us, but almost all who have been created. He answered me and said, listen to me, Ezra, and I will instruct you and will admonish you yet again. For this reason, the Most High has made not one world, but two. For whereas you have said that the righteous are not many, but few, while the ungodly abound, hear the explanation for this. If you have just a few precious stones, will you add to them lead and clay? I said, Yahuwah, how could that be? And he said to me, not only that, but ask the earth, and she will tell you. Defer to her, and she will declare it to you. Say to her, you produce gold and silver and brass, and also iron and lead and clay, but silver is more abundant than gold, and brass than silver, and iron than brass, and lead than iron, and clay than lead. Judge therefore which things are precious and desirable, those that are abundant, or those that are rare. I said, O sovereign Yahuwah, what is plentiful is of less worth, for what is more rare is more precious. He answered me and said, weigh within yourself what you have thought, for he who has what is hard to get rejoices more than he who has what is plentiful. Yeah. So also will be the judgment which I have promised, for I will rejoice over the few who shall be saved, because it is they who made me my glory to prevail now. Yeah. Because we wanted to come. We came a steaming face down. And through them my name has now been honored. And I will not grieve over the multitude of those who perish, for it is they who are now like a mist and are similar to a flame and smoke. They are set on fire and burnt hotly and are extinguished. I replied and said, O earth, what have you brought forth? If the mind is made out of the dust, like the other created things. Wait a second. I replied and said, O earth, what have you brought forth? If the mind is made out of the dust, like the other created things. I don't get that. For it would have been better if the dust itself had not been born, so that the mind might not have been made from it. But now the mind grows with us, and therefore we are tormented because we perish and know it. You see, I can't really relate when it comes to this sort of stuff that we're talking about with Ezra, if that's how he was. But I just can't. But let me take that back. I guess I could have, like before when I was having a hard time imagining walking away from all my loved ones and seeing gnawing and gnashing of teeth. I guess I would have been saying just about the same thing, huh? For it would have, let the human race lament, but let the beast of the field be glad. Let all who have been born lament, but let the four-footed beast of the flocks rejoice. For it is much better with them than with us. For they do not look for a judgment, nor do they know of any torment or salvation promised to them after death. For what does it profit us that we shall be preserved alive, but cruelly tormented? This is exactly what I was saying. So yeah. For all who have been born are involved in iniquities, and all are full of sins and burdened with transgressions. And if we were not to come into judgment after death, perhaps it would have been better for us. He answered me and said, when the Most High made the world and Adam and all who have come from him, he first prepared the judgment and the things that pertain to the judgment. And now understand from your own words, for you have said that the mind grows with us. For this reason, therefore, those who dwell on earth shall be tormented, because though they had understanding, they committed iniquity. Those who dwell on the earth, because they had understanding, they'll be tormented because they had understanding but committed iniquity instead. They chose that which he don't delight in. They seen the truth and they put their fingers in their ears and they said, no, I don't want to hear it. Like way too many do. And though they received the commandments, they did not keep them. And though they obtained the law, they dealt unfaithfully with what they received. What then will they have to say in judgment, or how will they answer in the last times? For how long the time is that the Most High has been patient with those who inhabit the world, and not for their sake, but because of the times which he has foreordained. I answered and said, if I have found favor in your sight, O my master, show this also to your servant. whether after death, as soon as every one of us yields up his soul, we shall be kept in rest until those times come when thou will renew the creation, or whether we shall be tormented at once. He answered me and said, I will show you that also, but do not be associated with those who have been shown scorn. Exactly. Exactly. You know, I know that the world thinks it's arrogance, or I don't know what word they would use. I'm sure they got one for when they're talking about someone who claims the Most High the way they do, and they claim that they're going to be kings and priests, and that they're chosen, and that they're 144, that they have an expectation that's firm, no ifs, ands, or buts about it, and that all the things they say, the smell of them, that glow. I know the world thinks that glow is a show, but what they don't know, what they won't see, they could see, but they won't see, is that the word tells anyone who wants to see what it takes to have those expectations. And all of us can do it. It's not hard to do. I mean, it's hard, but everyone's capable of it. If I can do it, you can do it. And as long as we're doing that, it's not arrogance to say that our reward is laid up in the heavens, and that the promises from the only one who's ever answered promises, all his promises that I know of, there's no pride or arrogance in knowing, having your faith solidified, to say that you are born to move mountains. You can do these things. What is tragic is that people say they can't. Not that someone would ever say they can. See how backwards the world is? So don't be associated with those who show scorn, nor number yourself among those who are tormented. For you have a treasure of works laid up with the Most High. Thanks, Abba. See how he's got my back like that? But it will not be shown to you until the last times. Now, concerning death, the teaching is, when the decisive decree has gone forth from the Most High that a man shall die, as the spirit leaves the body to return again to him who gave it, first of all, it adores the glory of the Most High. I bet. And if it is one of those who have shown scorn and have not kept the way of the Most High, and who have despised his law, and who have hated those who fear the Most High, such spirits shall not enter into habitations, but shall immediately wander about in torments, ever grieving and sad in 7 ways. I don't even want to know what those 7 ways are about. I just know that I don't want nothing to do with them. The first way, because they have scorned the law of the Most High. The second way, because they cannot now make a good repentance that they may live. Oh yeah. The third way, that they shall see the reward laid up for those who have trusted the covenants of the Most High. Yep. The fourth way, they shall consider the torment laid up for themselves in the last days. The fifth way, they shall see how the habitations of the others are guarded by angels in profound quiet. The sixth way, that they shall see how some of them will pass over into torments. The seventh way, which is worse than all the ways that have been mentioned, because they shall utterly waste away in confusion and be consumed with shame, and shall wither with fear at seeing the glory of the Most High, before whom they sinned while they were alive, and before whom they are to be judged in the last times. Now, this is the order of those who have kept the ways of the Most High, when they shall be separated from their mortal body. During the time that they lived in it, they laboriously served the Most High, and withstood danger every hour, that they might keep the law of the lawgiver perfectly. Yes. Therefore this is the teaching concerning them. First of all, they shall see with great joy and the glory of him who receives them. For they shall have rest in 7 orders. Yes. Finally, to the good stuff, the good part. The first order, because they have striven with great effort to overcome the evil thought which was formed with them, that it might not lead them astray from life into death. Hallelujah. The second order, because they see the perplexity in which the souls of the ungodly wander, and the punishment that awaits them. That's that wealth of the nations. That's those sovereigns building my wall, your wall. Thanks, Abba. The third order, they see the witness which he who formed them bears concerning them, that while they were alive they kept the law which was given them in trust. The fourth order, they understand the rest which they now enjoy, being gathered into their chambers and guarded by angels in profound quiet, and the glory which awaits them in the last days. The fifth order, they rejoice that they have now escaped what is corruptible, and shall inherit what is to come. And besides they see the straits and toil from which they have been delivered. Yeah. And the spacious liberty which they are to receive and enjoy in immortality. It's already that good, just where I'm at now. When I get to this, I'm not going to have time to think about nothing else. It's already getting that way. The sixth order, when it is shown to them how their face is to shine like the sun, and how they are to be made like the light of the stars, being incorruptible from then on. The seventh order, which is greater than all that have been mentioned, because they shall rejoice with boldness, and shall be confident without confusion, and shall be glad without fear, for they hasten to behold the face of him who they served in life, and from whom they are to receive their reward when glorified. This is the order of the souls of the righteous, as henceforth is announced. And the aforesaid are the ways of torment, which those who would not give heed shall suffer hereafter. I answered and said, will time therefore be given to the souls after they have been separated from the bodies, to see what you have described to me? He said to me, they shall have freedom for 7 days, so that during these 7 days they may see the things of which you have been told, and afterwards they shall be gathered in their habitations. That's right now, guys. I know it is. And it's just those who have heeded loving him. They don't know what love and commitment is. They see it, the truth of it. They're like, man, that place is evil over there. Man, that does sound right. Why is there a big face on the map and all these things? They've seen it, but they've been refusing it, rejecting it, because they chose. You know what they chose? Babylon. However you want to spread it. So, like I've been saying, every day, more and more, he's filling me up, and more I see just how they'll gnaw and gnash their teeth. It's like every day I see, oh yeah, and there's that too. That's going to cause it. Don't forget that stuff. I answered and said, if I have found favor in your sight, show further to me your servant, whether on the day of judgment the righteous will be made to intercede for the ungodly, or to entreat the Most High for them. Thank you, Abba. You know, if for any of you who've been around for a while, and I know there's a couple, you might recall when I began to talk about how is it that I'm going to how will I overcome my family gnawing and gnashing their teeth? You might recall me. And do you remember what I was reading when I started to ask that question? We were right here where we are in 2nd Esdras. We were reading the same exact thing. I remember clearly now. And I had no answer then. No clue what I was going to do. Thank you, Abba. His goodness, oh man. Get you a taste. There's nothing like it. To entreat the Most High for them, remember? Me saying that he asked the question if there was anything he could do to intercede for those who went on to death. Fathers for sons, or sons for parents, brothers for brothers, relatives for their kinsmen, or friends for those who are most dear. Would any of these people do that for you, you think? Just a question. I mean, I'm not, that it wouldn't matter to me either way, but do you think they would for you? Let's just be honest. He answered me and said, since you have found favor in my sight, I will show you this also. The day of judgment is decisive and displays to all the seal of truth. To all. It's decisive. Just as now a father does not send his son, or a son his father, or a master his servant, or a friend his dearest friend, to be ill, or sleep, or eat, or be healed in his stead, so no one shall ever pray for another on that day, neither shall any one lay a burden on another. For then everyone shall bear his own righteousness and unrighteousness. We looked at that picture in the beginning. It's the parting of the ways. It's the perfect. It's like peeling an apple. The rind and the junks going off to one side, and the fruit, the goodness, the gold, the production goes the other way. I answered and said, how then do we find that first Abraham prayed for the people of Sodom, and Moses for our fathers who sinned in the desert, and Joshua after him for Yasharal in the days of Achan, and Samuel in the days of Saul, and David for the plague, and Solomon for those in the sanctuary, and Elijah for those who received the rain, and for the one who was dead that he might live, and Hezekiah for the people in the days of Sennacherib, and many others prayed for many. If therefore the righteous have prayed for the ungodly now, when corruption has increased and unrighteousness has multiplied, why will it not be so then as well? He answered me and said, this present world is not the end. The full glory does not abide in it. Therefore those who were strong prayed for the weak. But the day of judgment will be the end of this age and the beginning of the immortal age to come, in which corruption has passed away, sinful indulgence has come to an end, unbelief has been cut off, and righteousness has increased, and truth has appeared. Therefore no one will then be able to have mercy on him who has been condemned in the judgment, or to harm him who is victorious. You'll know there's no use. He ain't hearing it anyway. He's told us that. Don't pray for him, he tells us all the time. Don't pray for these people and their abominations. I'm not going to hear it. You're just wasting your time. And why would you? Why would you? Pray for those who actually want you to pray for them. And they actually, I'll hear it and they love me. And that it will matter. And it'll show to me that you believe what I'm saying, that you shouldn't pray for them, because I ain't going to hear it. If you've read that and you keep praying for those people he said not to pray for, you don't believe in the Most High. You're like, yeah, I know he said that, but I'm going to keep praying anyways. Maybe he'll change his mind. You never know. Maybe if I ask him nicely. It's a joke. It's a joke. Condemned in thy judgment, or to harm him who is victorious. I answered and said, this is my first and last word, that it would have been better if the earth had not produced Adam, or else, when it had produced him, had restrained him from sinning. If it was, he's saying that it would have been better for us to have been robots, slaves, no free choice, no free will. For what good is it to all that they live in sorrow now and expect punishment after death? Sounds like the average atheist reasoning, huh? Oh, Adam, what have you done? For though it was you who sinned, the fall was not yours alone, but ours also who are your descendants. For what good is it to us if an eternal age has been promised to us, but we have done deeds that bring death? And what good is it that an everlasting hope has been promised us, but we have miserably failed? Or that safe and healthful habitations have been reserved for us, but we have lived wickedly. Didn't he just tell him not to number himself with the people who scorn? Didn't he? He did, didn't he? He just, this guy. Or that the glory of the Most High will defend those who have led a pure life, but we have walked in the most wicked ways. He must be French, this guy. Or that a paradise shall be revealed whose fruit remains unspoiled, and in which are abundance and healing, but we shall not enter it. Because we have lived in unseemly places. Or that the faces of those who practice self-control shall shine more than the stars, but our faces shall be blacker than darkness. Ooh. For while we lived and committed iniquity, we did not consider what we should suffer after death. He answered and said, this is the meaning of the contest, which every man who is born on earth shall wage, that if he is defeated, he shall suffer what you have said, but if he is victorious, he shall receive what I have said. For this is the way of which Moses, while he was alive, spoke to the people, saying, choose for yourself life. That's the contest. Are you going to choose life or death? What's it going to be, buddy? Tick, tock, tick, tock. Death. Death for 2,400. So simple. But they did not believe him, or the prophets after him, or even myself who have spoken to them. Therefore there shall not be grief at their destruction, so much as joy over those to whom salvation is assured. Yeah. I told you, nothing's going to stop me from going on to my Abba. And I'll know that the Most High did everything he could for him. And I witnessed a lot of it. But they didn't want it. They failed miserably the easiest contest probably that's ever been made. It's one those bean sack races are way harder than this contest, to choose life over death. I answered and said, I know, O my master, that the Most High is now called merciful, because he has mercy on those who have not yet come into the world, and gracious, because he is gracious to those who turn in repentance to his law, and patient, because he shows patience towards those who have sinned, since they are his own works, and bountiful, because he would rather give than take away. and abundant in compassion, because he makes his compassions abound more and more to those now living, and to those who are gone, and to those yet to come. For if he did not make them abound, the world with those who inhabit it would not have life. And he is called giver, because if he did not give out of his goodness, so that those who have committed iniquities might be relieved of them, not 1/10,000th of mankind could have life. And judge, because if he did not pardon those who were created by his word, and blot out the multitude of their sins, there would probably be left only few of the innumerable multitude. Yeah. That's why it doesn't matter what you've done. It doesn't. It matters what you do today, right now. You got to live life in the moment. You can't beat yourself up and concern yourself with things that you've done in the past. You need to make those things right. Ask for forgiveness. Repent. Literal WWYD, repent. Real deal Holyfield, repent, and actually turn and not do those things anymore. Then when you do that, you got nothing. You only got forward, up to look, not down. No. And I know that's a big problem today. A lot of people, they give up. And it's taught. You know this. Christianity teaches you. You can't keep one law. You'll break all of them, so don't try. Or you're putting yourself under it. That's like if someone punches you and knocks you down, and they're going to whoop your ass, just lay there and take it, because you can't. Don't try to get up and defend yourself. Make it right, because you're beat. Just take it. Laying down. That could never be advice. The thing to do. It could never be. The only thing there is to do, that the right thing, would be to get your ass up on your feet like a man or a woman and fight for your life. For whatever it is that you say you fight for. Just imagine if every time a dad was pushing his little boy or girl on a bicycle the first time when they learned how to ride a bike. Just imagine what kind of world it would be like if every one of those children, after wiping out the first time, stopped and never rode a bike ever again. They just give up because they said, well, I crashed one time and it's over. That's the Christian's motto. We can come up with all kinds of names for him. Mishpaka, I hope you have plans on going like I said I was going to do and get more bibs, because, just having a couple, 2 or 3, on hand to deal with the kind of food we're going to be eating, we've been eating all 7 days out of the week. I don't think that's too much laundry for me. Wink, wink. I love you. Will you praise the Most High with me today? Will you get on your face and give him all praise, all honor, all glory, and all esteem today? If you will give him all esteem today, high five. Well done. Touche. Peace out. I'm out.